The moment is here, you can stop your search. It's Comics by Perch.
Hey everybody, it's Perch. Well, let's try it. Anyway, here's a message from someone trying to explain to me, and I appreciate, by the way. I know some people in the comments like, "Oh, Perch just doesn't get it," but they rarely, take the time to actually explain why I don't get it. But this person gives it a shot. So here we go. Hey Perch, you recently asked in a video why people are so upset at the creators. What you don't understand is that the answer is extremely simple. The creators decided to wage war on the fans by making fun of them, insulting them for their purchases and their political choices, and basically mocking the people responsible for their livelihood. When the creators decided to do this, they turned their back on all of the goodwill and love that the fans had shown the characters for years, and instead decided that spitting on them was the appropriate course of action. I don't hear course of action very much, but there you go, the appropriate course of action. For me, this was a line that was crossed that no one can ever come back from. I don't care if the creators starve or cannot afford basic living, basic living standards. If you go to war with your fan base, you deserve everything. So therefore, whatever happens, happens. These people made their bed. Now they can lie in. Now they can lie in it. Lie in it. Lie on it. Lie in it. You lie in your bed. Okay. Now you can lie in. They can lie in it. I have no sympathy. I have no love in my heart for people who openly mock and attack me. Once they've done this, it's over. These companies are dead. The products are dead, and I will enjoy back issues if I enjoy anything at all from them. That's what you don't seem to get, that these people made it personal. And the fact that they made it personal means that I can never forgive them. Most people feel the same way. If you just try to understand it from the fans' perspective once in a while, instead of trying to defend the creators, you too might see this. Besides, they hate you even more than they hate me. The creators don't like fans and mock them, but people who point out their hypocrisies, like you sometimes do, are their mortal enemy. They would just as soon see you dead than ever change. Once you get that, you will be better protected. And then there's quote, thanks for listening. And another quote there. So kind of my tagline, thanks for listening. I don't know if it's my tagline, that's what I say at the end. Okay. That's certainly a way of looking at it. I can't help but think, better protected. It makes me, I have an image in my head right now of it's the A-Team, remember like Mr. T and the A-Team, except it's like Mags and Tess Fowler and Vita Ayala, like T. Franklin. And they're all like in a van and they're like driving around with like bats. Just they drive up to somebody's house that, as a comic collector, they just go in and just start beating the shit out of them with they just, and the theme song, dun, 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 T. Franklin jumps out of the car with a bat. Anyway, I'm actually just, I'm picturing that'd be hysterical. Anyway, all right. Obviously not getting beaten up with a bat, just the idea that any of these people would be capable of actually doing that. One of the biggest pieces of comedy for me is when, years and years ago when Mags did that, I'd like to hit all the straight people with a baseball bat to the teeth, or there's something along those lines, made this kind of post. I mean, the idea that Mags could swing a baseball bat with enough force to do any kind of damage is mildly comical. But anyway, we live in a crazy world, if that's even the path we've wandered down, and nobody's going down that path. As much as, and it's one of the disservices that I think Twitter and Facebook and those places have given us, is they've allowed people to entertain the idea that some of these people who make threats online have any ability to back those threats up. It's hot air. Now it's gross and it's wrong and everything else, but I mean, I guess I grew up with a generation, and certainly a grandfather I mentioned in the past. It's like, if somebody hates you for no reason, you give that motherfucker a reason. Is one of the, I remember being a kid and him telling me that, and my parents like, you can't say motherfucker in front of, anyway. But if you're gonna say something, I think you need to be prepared to back it up. If you're gonna talk tough, if you're gonna be a tough guy, you need to be able to you better put your money where your mouth is. Not that I'm advocating everybody goes around and just starts, initiating violence anywhere, because that'd be a horrible world. But if you're going to, be an internet tough guy, you got to make good on those threats. You're going to walk around like, I should sue all you guys for defamation. Okay, do it. Do it. Do it. I mean, don't just say it. Let's see it. And that's not what a lot of people do. A lot of they want to, it's the talk tough on the internet. Look, to the writer of the mail, I understand that if you are somebody who buys a product, you're consuming a product. Somebody is basically they're putting something out for sale, and they want you to purchase it. They should treat you with respect. Not necessarily because it's the moral thing to do, but because it's the common sense thing to do. If I'm selling pizza, and then the people who come into my restaurant to order pizza, I go, hey, you dumb fucker. If I just insult them, I'm not going to have a clientele. Nobody's going to come in to get my pizza. Everybody's going to avoid it unless, I somehow market the kind of novelty of like, come in and have pizza and I'll insult you to your face. I mean, maybe there's probably a small market for that, but it won't be a very good one. I mean, granted, Arby's has, basically survived on selling absolute dog shit poison food, and somehow they're still alive. But regardless, you can't, you don't do this because you're trying to be a nice guy. You do this for capitalist reasons. You do this because it's important to sell product. Selling product equals get money equals, survive to fight another day. That's the entire game and the point. But when I see mail like this, and I thank you for laying it out, I appreciate that. I guess my reaction is you should find something else. You should find a different hobby. I mean, it sucks. I get it. I totally understand that you're in love with Spider-Man and you've loved Spider-Man your entire life, and you've grown up with Spider-Man, and one day, this douchebag who's writing Spider-Man or editing Spider-Man or whatever it happens to be, comes out and then just wants to clown on you like you're a heckler in a comedy show, and they're going to go into business mocking you, or, blocking, as much as it shouldn't feel that way, because blocking should just be kind of like I'm not interested in talking anymore. They made it personal. And I've said this before, but you do need to realize that Twitter intentionally made blocking feel personal, because they could just say, this page is unavailable, but instead they say, Dan Slott blocked you, and they put in big bold text. They do it to make you mad. What they want you to do is get pissed off, because when you're pissed off, you tweet more, use more of the platform. You sometimes lose some of your rational thought and you buy some of the dumb shit that's being sold on there. You click on ads, but also you go and you create another account. And Twitter's entire valuation was around user growth. That's what they sold their advertising off of. If it has users, they can demand higher advertising rates. So what they want you to do is get pissed off when you're blocked and go, I'll bet that person is talking about me. And then you go and you create another account, and bingo, they've got another user, and you're hooked on their platform the entire time. That is their scam. They're running. But in reality, the idea of blocking isn't meant to feel personal. It's just it is what it is. I think if you view the world and that somebody personally attacked you, they're coming for you, and that's a line, as you mentioned in the mail, a line that was crossed that you can never forgive. Again, live your life however you want. That just feels like you're signing yourself up for a lot of hatred and misery. Bluntly. I don't feel like giving that much of myself to Marvel. And that's also what it feels like to me. It feels like I'm giving up a lot of me to this corporation that doesn't deserve that much of my time, energy, mind share, emotion. Why in the world would I want to give, Dan Slott or Tom King or Vita Ayala or any of these people? Why would I want to give them that much of myself? I mean, it sounds like a terrible decision. I don't want them living in my head. I don't want to think about them. I guess, and maybe this is how I'm wired. You don't have to be the same, but how I'm wired is if I feel somebody offends me, or if I feel like somebody doesn't respect, the money that I'm giving them, or whatever else it happens to be. You ever heard the expression "you're dead to me"? That spells more violent, but that's how I view it. You're dead to me. I just don't care. I don't go in and think about them. I don't engage. I'm just like, all right, for all intents and purposes, you don't exist anymore. I'm done. If buying a comic book is going to make me personally kind of, churn inside, I just stop. Now, again, granted, I hear you. It's hard to do, but I don't see the value in going to war over a nobody. And yes, to pick one name, Dan Slott is a nobody. He's written some Spider-Man. Good for him. You can pat yourself on the back about, oh, look, I've got published credits in comics. I mean, good for you. I'm glad. It doesn't mean anything to my life that you're that way. I mean, that to me, that's equivalent to, I went to the state fair and I rode a bull for 5 seconds, and that's the greatest moment of my life. Cool. Whatever works for you, but that doesn't matter for me. I don't care about what, these people are nobodies. I don't care about them. So if they're going to act the fool and go to war, the dumbest thing for me to do personally would be to get in there and engage and start, throwing, making a fight. They're very easy for me to forget. So I just try and do that. I just try and erase them from my mentality, and it works. I don't know. I understand how it's wrapped up. I am sympathetic to people who get wrapped up in this and who feel it personally. But I'll tell you, if you view the world, and several of you have written similar things in the comments, like, these people went to war with me, and so no peace, no surrender. I don't know. I just see, it sounds like that really does sound like a waste of time. But if this is what gets you through the day, if this is what you want to do with your life, that's your business. It's your life. I don't get to tell you what you do with your life. But thank you for writing in and explaining. Do you feel this way? Is there a path where one day you could say, you know what? Fuck these people. I'm out. I think I just, personal advice, you can do what you want. I try and get to there as soon as possible. Because the rest is giving them too much. I understand many of you have said, I'm not buying another comic book from Nick Lowe or the Spider-Man office. I'm never doing it again. Okay. I'm good. You know what you want. You know what you don't want. Then good. You made a good choice. But stopping buying the comic is just half of it. The other half of it is you have to starve them for attention. I mean, as good as I can convey, a lot of the people who troll regularly on social media, they're, and including the Heather Antoses, the T. Franklins, the Vita Ayalas, the Danny Lores, the Tom Kings, the Dan Slotts, etc. These people are desperate for your attention. And if just things go quiet, they will post crazier and crazier shit to try and get you to pay attention. There is a reason that Heather Antos brings up the fucking milkshake incident from 5-6 years ago on a regular basis. And she'll do it in clever ways. Like, I see people are still talking about the milkshake incident. It's like, lady, you posted that out of nowhere. Nobody, why bring attention to it? If you're trying to move past it, just let it go. By bringing it up, you're fishing for attention. You get a bunch of people like, oh man, I'm sorry this is happening to you. I'm sorry people are still talking about this. What pathetic losers they are. And that's nice. And I'm sure she likes that. But what she likes even better is somebody running to immediately do a multi-part thread of like, this is why you're a bitch. She loves that. Loves it. All these people do. if you truly want to, have a good fight, starving them for attention is the thing that is going to cut biggest and deepest. So if you're truly out looking for some kind of, revenge, isolation, apathy, that cuts deeper than anything. It is a true statement that if you go and you review a comic, you're like, wow, I love this comic. Or if you review the comic, goes, this comic was the biggest piece of shit in the entire history of the world. Both of those are vastly preferable to a creator. And by the way, sick as it is, a lot of creators actually prefer seeing the super negative review. It gets them all fired up for God knows why. The most cutting, damning review you could give someone is to go, I read the comic. It was, you know what? It was just forgettable. I don't know. There really wasn't anything there. I don't know. It wasn't good as bad as like wallpaper paste. This comic just felt like, I don't know. I forgot it seconds after I finished reading it. That is the most killing, cutting comment you could ever make. So, if you care, for what it's worth, but do you feel like this person who wrote in this mail? Do you have these emotions? Again, not saying they're bad, just are you one of them? Let me know in the comments below, and thanks for listening.